Hello everyone, my name is Nagmalika. I am currently pursuing 3rd BTech CSC in Vishnu Institute of Technology. In this video, let me explain you about the key concepts like callback, closure, promises, and also await, async functions, and also to-do application using closure. Now let me explain you the callback function. A callback function in JavaScript is a function that is passed as an argument to the another function and it is executed later time. A callback function mainly allows us to handle asynchronous function. Here is a basic example for explaining the callback function. First you can see here hello and a name. Here I have created a function process user input. Here name is a parameter and a callback function named callback. It first logs a greeting message to the console like hello name. Then it calls a callback function and passes the name to it, allowing the callback function to do the additional task. And also I have created a function here, say goodbye. Here we call the process user input and we gave a name as Alice and we are calling a callback function as say goodbye. First initially it logs and it gives us output as hello Alice, and then the say goodbye function is called and logging, then we get output as goodbye Alice. And next we are also calling the process user input function again with the name of Bob. First it initially logs to the hello Bob, and then after you are calling a callback function that is say thank you, then you will get an output as thank you for visiting, and along with the name Bob, then you will get output thank you for visiting. Let me show you output for this. This is the output you'll be getting. Now let's move to the closure concept. Closure concept is nothing but when you define a function inside another function, the inner function can use the variables of the outer function. This is because of lexical scoping. Here a term I am using as lexical scoping. That means when you define the function inside another function, the inner function can use the variables of the outer function. In this example, you can see here I have created a function create counter. In this function I have used three functions, that is increment, decrement and get count. These three functions can access a variable count. That means the functions which are inside the create counter, they can be used, they can be access the count, they can be access this variable that is count. The functions which are outside the create counter cannot access this count method, count variable. So in this example, when you call the function create counter and then after that you are using the increment, decrement and get count. Here increment returns a value by incrementing the count, and it and returns the updated value, whereas same in the decrement, it decrements a value by 1 and return the updated value. And get count, this method will return the current value. This get count function is used to return the current value of the count. Now let me also show you the output of this closure.js. See, you can see here you'll be getting the output 0, 1, 2, 1 and 1. Now let me also explain you the concept of promises. A promise in JavaScript is a mechanism that allows you to handle the asynchronous tasks. That means it makes asynchronous code readable and manageable in an easy way. Here is a simple and basic code that you can understand how how the behavior of the promise is. First, initially, I have created a new promise using this constructed new promise. Then, if the it takes two parameters, that are resolve and reject, and also a success variable. Here, if the operation is success, we call the resolve function. Then it returns a message the operation was successful. If there is an error, we then call a reject method. That means it is used for handling the errors. Here also we used then and catch methods in this promise. First, let me tell you about then. Why do we use here? Then is used to handle the case when the promise is resolved successfully, and catch method is used to handle the errors. This is a simple code which you can understand the promise, and let me show you the output. So you can see the output as the operation was successful. You can see the output as the operation was successful. Okay. Now let me explain you next concept as async and await. Async and await are two features in the JavaScript where which works with the asynchronous functions, where it also makes code easier and readable. Mainly the async is used for creating the asynchronous function, and await is used inside the asynchronous function. And await is used to pause the execution of the function until the promise is resolved or rejected, because the asynchronous function returns always a promise. Here I have to use the functions like delay, fetch data, and process data. First, let me explain you the delay. Delay uses here set timeout, which uses to make the delay. Here also in this fetch data, I have used 2000 number. That means it waits for the 2000 milliseconds. That means 2 seconds. So here a function that waits for the 2000 milliseconds. First, what happens is here the process data function starts, then it calls the fetch data function. Here it will call the fetch data function. Then in fetch data function we are using a delay function. That means it waits for the 2000 milliseconds, and then it gets the data, then process and logs the result. And output for this code you will get is, so you can see here it is waiting for 2 seconds and then you got the output. First, initially you will get the start processing and fetching data. After 2 seconds you will get the data fetched successfully, processing sample data, and processing complete. This is how we will get an output in the async and await. Let me also explain you about Todo application using this closure. Briefly, let me explain you. This code implements a simple to-do list which has titles, due dates, and complete. And in this code, there is also that the tasks are divided into categorized into some overdue or due today or due later. What happens in this code is that you will make a to-do list. Like if you have completed the work, then you will mark it, or otherwise, if the uh, if the task isn't completed, then you will make it keep it as incomplete, or if the task is going to be completed tomorrow or in further days, then it is going to be kept as incomplete. Let me show you the example here. That means output. You can see here you'll get an my to-do list that I have used here: plan Christmas shopping, titles as plan Christmas shopping, decorate the house for the holiday season, bake holiday cooking, and wrap presents, and prepare for the New Year's Eve party. Here I have this is mainly based on formatted date. That means this function is used because it tells the current date. Based on this current date, you can decide that either the before previous day or the next day. So coming to here, the due date is for the title plan Christmas shopping. The due date is yesterday, and the completion status is false. That means the task isn't completed, so you'll get an empty output. That means it is an incomplete work. And the next one is decorate the house for the holiday season. The due date here is today. That means the work has to be completed today, and the completion status is true. That means the work has been completed today. So then you can mark this as completed. Then the work is bake holiday cookies. That means this due date is also today. That means this work has to be completed today, but the completion statement status is false. That means the work hasn't completed, so you will left it incomplete. Coming to the next titles like wrap presents and prepare for New Year's Eve party. Here the due date for both the titles are tomorrow, and this for this also tomorrow. So that means the work isn't completed and the completion status both are false. That means the work isn't completed, so you will make it as incomplete. So by using these closures, we can also make the to-do list. And thank you and have a nice day.